I'm going to kick off with a slide deck, because I want you to see the types of slides that we've got, and I know you've seen some of our work already, and it's really lovely to have like 3 clients in the room. It's like, oh. But you know, some of you have seen some of the stuff and some of you have seen none or whatever. Also, Isabel's delivered a lot of think work already, so she's way ahead of the curve, and so she can do Q&A and answer any things about what's great about it, but also let's dig into what's not great about it and what's hard about it, and you know, what the flaws and what things we're working on fixing. Because this is not, I'm not trying to sell this to anybody. Anybody who wants this, I want them to want it on their own thing, because yeah, that's not, the business model is not about let's get bums on. Have you ever seen those franchises, you know, where all they're doing is selling the franchise to get the franchise fee and stuff, and that is just not anything that we're interested in whatsoever. And Vanessa, who works with me on managing it, we're always looking at those emails that's like the get rich quick and the just the antithesis of everything that we want. So we'd far rather have fewer people with depth and drive than just trying to churn it. Also, we want to let people do as much or as little as they want. That's the other thing about this. So we've got some people who want to do a couple of things a year. That's fine. We've got people that want to build it into a mega thing. That's fine. Do you know, and the idea is that it's flexible so that you can do that. Some people are doing it and it alone, think and think alone, and some people are doing think alongside different businesses that have got, maybe other consultancy stuff or other specialist areas. The lady who's doing it in India, in Bangalore, she's Mumbai. She's Mumbai. We've got another one in Bangalore, in Mumbai, and she's HR. So she's doing some technical legal HR consulting, but she's using Think because there's some new thinking about health and safety, which HR gets involved in, but the health and safety moving into the psychology area, that there's a psychology of health and safety as well, in that people can't be stressed, people shouldn't be upset at work, bullying, and all that spectrum of health and safety psychology is fascinating, because actually at the moment it's physical, isn't it? If you think about it, it's mostly about trips and slips. Think was actually born from a different place than a lot of consulting companies or training companies, and that is what kind of gives us our difference. We were born out of, like a lot of innovations, born out of something that makes you sad or something that makes you mad. And what was making us mad was that advertising and creative industries was becoming more and more P&L focused. So instead of like the big idea and the inspiration and all of that being celebrated, it was, as you guys will know, it's like, how much are we getting out of that campaign first? You know, instead of the other way around. And it used to be, if you had the most amazing campaign idea, that the money would come, you know, if you invested in it well. So that P&L scrutiny made a lot of very good marketing people become very risk averse. And then over time, they kind of forgot, or it was more difficult to create. Then when you get to a point where all that sort of got a bit tight and a bit boring and everybody's ads are looking a bit formulaic and so forth and a bit kind of flat, somebody then says, hang on a minute, we need more creative ideas around here. And then you go to your audience, to your company, and you say, right, let's have ideas. And people go, how? You know, because a lot of companies are Six Sigma'd to death or process to death, or, do you know, and I'm really good at process now, I can get this job in, done, out. But where's that sparkle? Where's that magic? You know, where's that? And how do I do that? So it became quite obvious to us as an agency, and clients were asking us, how do you do that? So we thought, right, I don't know how we do it, so let's have a look. So we started to kind of look. I thought, yeah, we paint the walls bright, you know, we have pictures on the walls, we do competitions, we have fun, we have games, we play, we've got rubber chickens, we've got sweets, we've got books, we've got references, we've got images, we watch movies, we have access to the internet, full access, not restricted access, all that. We trust our people, we play, you know, and there was a whole bunch of things that we actually naturally did, and we started writing them down on sort of fact sheets, and that became the book, Think book. So the Think book then was published by Wiley, and because we had a book, we were then asked to do public speaking, and then from the public speaking, people would say, oh, do you do training? Because I'd love my team to have that. And then we go, no, we don't do training. I thought, well, I'm sure we could do. And then we sort of created like a 1 day and a 2 day and a 3 day program. And then clients were saying, hang on a minute, why am I buying this from an advertising agency? Because this is kind of weird that I'm head of HR and I'm buying this training and consulting from an ad agency. So we thought, maybe it's time. And also, OTB wanted rid of me. Because I was doing all this other, what are you doing? You're not doing anything here anymore. And although I was kind of working with our creative director, it was kind of different model because creative director would normally be the one who does the drawing, but it was not that model here. And anyway, it was good for both of us, and we separated, and Think became its own thing. And at that time, we struggled to say what we were, and luckily enough, What If were just ahead of us on that curve. And Chris Barris-Brown, who set up What If, he'd done his book, and I'd done our book with Mark, and it was just great that we had each other because we could reference each other. I, on the other hand, don't like overhead, and I think anybody who's been in a big company recently can understand how overhead can become scope creep, and you can lose the energy and lose the creativity, and so I understand other people's overhead, and I help them manage it, but personally I don't want that for Think. And I'm finding that there's a lot of people who are like me who want to do their own thing. They're in the stage and age of their career that they want to do their own thing. They want to spread their wings and, play with creativity or play with their skills. You've got X number of years of skills and now I want to do something with it. And it seems like Think has got a route for people to do that because innovation's a really broad church. If you look at innovation in health and safety, innovation in engineering, in chemistry, in physics, in schools, with kids, in the police, in the government. So it really is no matter where your personal skills are. And that's what we're doing, because we have a thinker in Winnipeg, and she was saying, well, I don't think I could run a workshop on creative thinking for a marketing proposition. And I'm like, well, you don't have to, because she's an expert in IT. And she was one of the people behind designing Skype. And so I said, look, I couldn't run a workshop on program development for software, but you can. So it's what so you need to think about the building blocks of the stuff that you know, and then use that to kind of spin it out and say, what do I know? How do I know? What am I expert in, as it were? So that's the story really behind it, and since then we've been trading for about 6 years now, and all the time we wanted to be bigger and wanted to be global and wanted to do more stuff in different countries because it's so stimulating, to think about what are they doing in Canada and what are they doing in India. But then you've got that thing of like, but I don't want overhead, I don't want offices everywhere and people everywhere, it's like, So we have a friend who's a consultant in licensing and franchising, and he said, well, there's very, very few licenses or franchise opportunities in the kind of consulting marketplace. There's a lot in other stuff, like in food and catering and in sort of domestic services and different things. So we started working on it about 3 years ago, and by trying to sort of organise all the chaos that we've created behind us has been massive, but we're getting there now, and we feel we've got to a point where we've got something that we can share with people. And it's still a work in progress, isn't it, Isabel?